What's good? What's good? What's good, gang? What's up, sexy lady? I see you, baby.
What's
Shout out
good?
to my
What's good? What's good,
moderators.
gang?
Hold on, y'all. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Hold on.
What's up?
Can y'all hear me? What's up? What's up? Shout out to my moderator, sexy lady is in the building. We got Courtney Lowe. Shout out. That's a new moderator, y'all. So y'all make sure y'all welcome Miss Courtney Lowe. Alexandra, who is not in the chat yet, but salute to you, baby girl. Who else we got in the building? SPK, salute, King. Appreciate you for popping out. You like that intro? I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right, y'all. Now today, I got a special guest for y'all. We're gonna talk about the causes and effects of being incarcerated, okay? And it is a big topic for us to talk about. Dallas Steele, salute, honey, salute, salute. I think that's a very important topic for us to talk about. And y'all know my motto, I don't know everything. We're going to learn together. So I have somebody in the building with us today who can help us answer some questions if anybody have questions, anything we want to know, or just moving forward. So without further ado, I am going to announce my guest, y'all. Give it up for Jermaine Sims, aka J Boogie. Okay.
Hey, everybody, how y'all doing? Hey, Manny, what's good?
What's good? How you doing this evening?
I'm actually blessed. I'm here, getting ready for work a little bit later, but everything's good. How's it on your end?
Oh, everything's good. I feel honored. I appreciate you for popping out with us. No,
Okay,
we appreciate it.
Okay, it is what it is.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You want to start by telling them a little bit about J Boogie?
Well, there's a lot that I can share with you about J Boogie, but I'm a native of Richmond, Virginia. Spent most of my life, you know, in the field of art, dealing with music, and everything. I actually had a record deal scheduled to come into existence with Wu-Tang Records just before I got incarcerated around 21 or 22 years old. It was disheartening, but we have plans and God has plans and God is best of planners. But that's basically a little bit about me.
Okay. You got a book, right? You have a book, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I have a book entitled I'm Not Bitter. It's available on Amazon.com. I actually wrote it about 6 years ago, but I got it self-published, and I was blessed to get it self-published for basically nothing because of my ability to write. I wrote articles for different, magazines, what have you, or newsletters, and somebody reached out to me and actually took care of that for me. So, I do have the book available on Amazon.com entitled I'm Not Bitter by Jermaine J. Sims.
Okay, y'all make sure y'all go check that book out. I'm not bitter. Okay.
Not at all.
So yeah, and not at all. So J Boogie, tell us. So you've been incarcerated, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you turn your background down just a little bit?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, your background.
Is that better?
Let me see. Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I was hearing that little echo.
Okay.
So incarcerated, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You have. Okay. And do you mind sharing with us for how long?
I was actually incarcerated for 23 years straight. No breaks in between. That was 23 years.
Wow. 23
23
years just cold turkey. Okay.
Cold turkey.
Do you want to touch on what caused you to get incarcerated?
I could touch on it because it's over with now. But I was charged with conspiracy to commit bank robbery, wherein a fatality happened. I wasn't at the crime scene. I didn't commit it, but because of who I was associated with at the time, they basically threw me in a conspiracy, and which resulted in me actually being sentenced to life without
Wow.
parole. Yeah, I
Okay.
had life without parole, and that happened because I chose to go to trial rather than take a plea deal like most other people would do.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit what's the difference between going to trial and taking a plea deal?
Well, most people have to understand about the federal system. I was charged with the feds, and what the plea deal is, it's basically a deal for you to plead guilty to something in relationship to the crime before a trial even happens. Usually people do it to get a lesser sentence. Me, I chose to go to trial because I pled not guilty. I maintain that I'm not guilty to this day. And I elected to go to trial because I believed in the quote unquote system and, innocent to proven guilty and everything. And when I got up in that courtroom, man, they handed me my butt. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So that didn't. So was this a murder case? Was it anything? Do you want to touch on like what type of case it was?
A fatality did happen.
It did. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
fatality did.
Okay. Yeah. We won't have to touch too much on that. Because we want to get into the real stuff. Honestly, we just want a little bit of background to know. So we got the past. Can you turn
Mm-hmm.
just a little bit?
More.
Yeah,
Mm.
a little bit. I'm getting a little backlash. Okay, so we got the past of it. Let's step
Right.
into the present. What is Jay Boogie doing now after 23 years? First, when did you get out? When were you released? I don't think you
Um, I was released about a year ago.
a year ago.
Um, yeah, a year ago. I came home to a world that was totally different from which I left. Um, and it wasn't easy in the beginning. I had a few, bumps in the road, but by God's blessing and me being the type of person that I am, I was able to come out underneath that and become what some people describe as a success story. I just look at it as me doing what I do normally. But people tend to congratulate me. I just got congratulated a couple days ago because most people that were charged the way that I was charged and everything become a statistic in the system. A
Mhm.
lot of people give up. 23 years is a long time to do
Yeah,
time.
most.
Period, right? But my drive in that was always that there's a higher power over it all. I never felt that the judge had the last word in anything. And my faith was so strong that my days were just get up, pray, go to breakfast, go to work, go to the law library because I believed one day that I would come home, and I never lost that hope and that belief throughout my whole 23 years sojourn in incarceration. So I pushed no matter how many times that my appeals were denied or I didn't have a vehicle to get out. And like I said, around a year ago, Donald Trump, when he was president, he signed the First Step Act into law. And me being a thinker outside the box, I filed something in court, got back in court. Some lawyers got involved. And next thing I know, to my surprise, I was a free man again. And it was such a blessing. Like I said, I was nervous because I came back to a world that I didn't know. I didn't know how to use a cell phone. This was all new to me. I
Yeah,
would go to people and ask, how do I use the phone? And they would act like they didn't have time because of what they were doing. And I felt so bad at one point in time. I felt isolated and alienated, but I
yeah.
never gave up. So I kept going, self-taught myself a lot of things and everything. Got a good support network system. My family on my father's side, who I hadn't seen for 23 years, I finally got back in contact with them. They took me in, and everything has been a blessing since then. From me getting a recently new job, despite the past, to my book being, reiterated and possibly used in law schools as a part of the curriculum, to streaming on different apps that I'm involved with, and different platforms in regard to mental health and prison advocacy. I mean, I have a whole list of things that I'm doing, many that most people are like, wow, man, you are really doing it since you came home. And I have God to thank for it. So, I mean, like I said, I got a
Okay.
laundry list of things.
Of course, hey, I agree with you. God is number one. I definitely agree with you. But just for anyone that's out there, you said you did 23 years, and my hat off to you, my brother, because you came back and adjusted. Because I can only imagine 23 years ago, it was a lot slower than it is now. So having to come back and kind of adjust to this, what type of tips could you give anyone else who I guess we'll call it institutionalized? You know, someone
Hmm.
who's from jail and they're trying to get back on their feet, but it seems like every which way they go, they hit a brick wall. What advice would you have?
First of all, being institutionalized is a mentality. Number
Mm,
one, you can be incarcerated and then be let loose and still be incarcerated in the mind. So one thing in going through that, you have to tell yourself that I'm more than what they say I am. And what I mean by that is, I'm gonna use myself as an example. I
mm-hmm.
never allowed those people in there to tell me that that was my home. That was language that they used, right? But that was
Yeah.
language that I never accepted. This is not my home. This is a temporary uh, spot for me. But I'm going to leave this place one day and I'm going to go home. So I carried that attitude and that mindset with me the entire time. I didn't become institutionalized. And that was for my decision to do the things that I did in prison. I went to college in prison. I learned another language. I speak Spanish as a second language in prison. I'm an official facilitator to the Alternatives to Violence Project. For those who are not familiar with AVP, some years ago, this was the program that got O.J. Simpson out. Well, I actually represent that program from the North Carolina chapter. So
Okay.
I kept my mind and my hands in things to better myself. I actually worked for the federal prison industries. Most people don't agree with it, but that's how I got scholarships to go to college. That's how I started not only my savings account, but also my Roth IRA. I saved enough money so that when I transitioned, whenever I did, I would have something to fall back on. And it actually played a part in me being successful right now. So and coming home, I knew that I was going to be on supervised release for 3 years. So I had a decision to make. Is my freedom more important than hanging out with the homies or going back to doing what I used to do or what I used to know? And is it more important to be around my family, as opposed to whatever things could cause me to go back to prison? And I made a conscious effort to say, the streets, going along to get along, that's not more important than what God has blessed me to do. Because not everybody is as fortunate as I am to be home. I had a
Oh,
life sentence and I won compassionate release via the First Step Act. So I'm grateful and I plan to use my experiences to help the next person know and understand that, look, slow money is better than no money. You appreciate it more. Um, it's the little things that matter. I love getting up in the morning and hearing the birds chirp and being able to go sit outside without a guard looking over my back or my shoulder telling me I can't do that. I'm sleeping in a real bed now, Minnie. A real bed. I'm no longer on a steel bunk with a mat this thin that's giving me problems if I turn this way or that way. And these are things that are very important in life. I've learned it's the little things that matter. Reacclimating to society, you have to understand too, not be institutionalized in how you interact and deal with people. We can't talk to people the way that we once did in prison. That was for that environment. But now you're in a world to where people talk to each other. We can agree to disagree, and there's no repercussion to it, so forth and so on. So
I was going
I,
to ask you that.
hmm?
I was actually going to ask you that question because I wanted to know going to jail, what is you have to adjust to that, correct? As you said, like the beds and different languages. Like, how did you
Uh,
adjust?
well, let me tell you, I never got comfortable with it, and I was never cool with it. But I had to adjust because this was the reality that I was going to be living in. So I guess I was smart enough to know to just be quiet, listen, study, and adapt. That's why we got two ears and one mouth. So I go in, I see the environment, and I'm like, man, what the hell have I
Right.
gotten into? And I would never forget the first day, well, not the first day, but the very next day, I came out on a yard and I'm standing there observing the scenery, and a guy comes running right past me, screaming, and I'm like, man, what the hell going on? Then I look, and it's a guy chasing him with a knife about this long, talking about give me my stamps. And I'm like, stamps? What the hell is he really literally trying to take this dude out for stamps? And that's when I learned that stamps was the
Uh-huh.
alleged currency in prison. That's money. So,
Wow.
I don't know anything about this, but I'm watching and I'm learning. And I'm like, well, damn. And then I had older guys back then that would come to me, and they would school me because I was one of the first youngsters on one of the worst penitentiaries in the country's complex, and that was USP Beaumont, Texas. Well, they called it Bloody Beaumont at the time, and they would tell me, "Look, man, don't get yourself in debt, mind your business," and a few other things. And I took that to heart, and I did that my whole 23 years in prison until it got me where I'm at right now, minding my business and doing what I'm supposed to do.
Amen. Hey, I applaud you for that. So, when you got out of jail, were you able to restore your rights? Did you get your rights restored?
Did I get my who? Pardon me?
Your rights restored.
Oh, when you talking about when I got home?
Mm-hmm.
Federal law is a little different from the state, right? So, but this is what I am doing personally, right? You in Virginia, where I'm from, the state of Virginia, you have to apply to receive certain rights back. Now, with me in my case, what I plan to do, I plan to petition whatever president is in office within the next 5 years to have the conviction taken off of my record, federal wise. State level, I had a relatively minor misdemeanor record, and the judge in my case noticed that this alleged felony was my first felony ever, and I got a life sentence for it. But what I plan to do is with all of the little charges that I had in the past, I'm going to the state courthouse, pay for it to get those expunged
Okay.
as well. And I'm going to apply for my rights back, like you're saying. So it is different in different states, but for the state of Virginia, this is what I have to do, and this is what I'm going to do because I don't, I don't look at myself as no ex-felon. I'm not a felon. That's a title that you put on me, for whatever reason and however you got me into the system to be given that title. So I don't subscribe to that, but it is a reality for me as far as the record wise. So I'm gonna do what I have to do to get things expunged, God willing.
Okay. And so, is there anything that OG Skinny and her team can do to help with that? Petitions, like what we need to do? Because we
Yes,
here.
I always tell people this, right? I became a certified paralegal while I was in there too, through Blackstone Career Institute. And naturally, it's all about the support network. So when I go to do these things, of course, your team and people that you're connected to or whatever can write letters, support letters, and everything. Like I'm a crawl before I walk. What I'm attempting to do, like I said, I have 3 years supervised release, but they have what is called a 3583 motion in the federal system, and
Okay.
I could submit that to the court and actually have the court consider removing me from supervised release after a year.
Okay.
I've been out a year and some change, so that is
Yeah.
something I'm working on, and I'm pretty sure any judge would look at what I've been able to accomplish since being out in conjunction with a positive network to consider that and possibly let me off of supervised release. From there, sky's the limit. Like I said, I want to get the conviction, everything off my record, which is I will have to petition the president of the United States. Um, and but that's a little bit further down the line. Right now, I'm going to crawl before I walk. But to answer your question, yes, having a good support network and people on your team definitely can make a difference in that. Pardon me. Excuse me.
Oh, God bless you.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So you
yeah,
said
that support network's everything.
we can write letters, correct? And where will we send these letters to?
You could send the letters to an attorney. You can send them to the judge themselves. You know, it's
Okay.
all at your discretion who you want to direct it to and who you would be directing it to. So it could be either the attorney for the alleged defendant, or to the judge itself, so the judge can see. More than likely, it's probably going to go to the attorneys because the attorneys got to file the motion and everything. It's submitted to the court. But if it's up to the individual. If the attorneys want to, drag their feet or they don't feel that comfortable with it, like I said, networks and all that stuff could express how they feel about the situation to the judge, and the judge, I believe, sua sponte, could address the situation. So yeah.
Okay. And do you have an address for us to send that to, or do you have
As far as myself or anybody?
Judge for us to reach out?
Oh
to
yeah. I definitely have an address.
Okay, perfect. So behind the scenes, I'll get that info for you, and under this video, guys, I will put it in my description box. How we can reach out, and we can help Jay Boogie out by sending letters and showing our support.
And I appreciate that. I didn't expect that, but thank you.
Oh yeah, no problem. That's what we do. We about uplifting and getting each other back on track over here. Okay, so someone in the chat had a question, and they said, "Did you learn all those laws while you were in, or after the fact?" Oh, I
Did
guess
you learn all of these laws while you were in or after the fact? A lot of it I learned while I was in. Like I said, I spent time in the law library. Matter of fact, if I wasn't working, that's where I was at. And I couldn't type. I learned how to type. Took typing class and everything, and I went to typing motions for people, and then typing their motions, to get money. I started learning the law, and that took some legal classes and just reading different cases and stuff and asking questions to the clerks in the law library and studying the criminal law reporter that was available at the time. And with time and taking a paralegal course, I started learning these things.
Okay. Yeah, I think we already answered that. Okay, so that's cool. So I guess in learning all of this, because you teaching me some stuff, like a lot of this I had absolutely no idea. I want to ask you, do you think that we are unjustly incarcerated sometimes? Like, do you believe that? Have you ever, like, during your experience in there, have you ever came across somebody who just felt like, yo, this was unjustly, I didn't do this? How common is it?
It's very common. It's very common in the federal system, in the state system. Yes, and it's a subject. I'm glad you asked that question because it's something that happens on the regular. I was in there like that, they basically came after me based on what somebody else just came to them with, contacted them, said this stuff, and the U.S. attorney decided to go with what this person said, and they didn't share that this person was not only trying to get themselves out of prison, but they were trying to help their brother get out of prison. So this happens all the time. You have people that are in prison that are not guilty of what they were alleged with, or they may have done something, but it was not to the degree that it is being alleged in an indictment. And they are getting this information from people that have ulterior motives a lot of the times behind why they're doing what they're doing and contacting these people. Because, it's like this. Every game comes with a set of rules to it. There's rules to life. So these people, when they get involved in what they're doing and doing, they knew the consequences of what might happen to them and doing what they do. But everybody is not who they say they are. So when they come with the pressure of, all right, you're going to get 15 to 20 years if you don't tell us what we want to know. Guess what? Most of them people fold and crack. So all of that street image and all that goes out the window, and they wind up assisting the government to help knock somebody that they call bigger in the food chain or has a more high profile case out the box in order to get a favor, which would be like a reduction in sentence or sometimes even release from prison.
Wow. And that causes issues in the streets, right? When people
It
do.
can cause issue in the streets. Yes, it can.
Okay.
It definitely can because you know, pretty much everything is online nowadays. So only thing a person has to do is go and look it up and bloop, there it is. And then
Yeah.
people don't mind calling home on telephones to let family members know what happened to them or friends know what happened to them, and it could be real issues behind that. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So Jay Boogie, now that you are out and you moving forward, and it sounds like you are doing a really good job. Can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. I hear you.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I just want to make sure I don't got my mic.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Okay. Cool. What do you think you can contribute to the young black men right now? And they don't have to have a past or anything, but what do you think would be something helpful that you can just contribute to our communities and going through what you went through?
Just my story in itself, and me still being willing to reach back. Like I said, many people are not fortunate enough to be in the position that I am. Not only that, when I came out, I continued to better myself. I continue wanting to be an example of how people are actually worthy of second chances at life if given the opportunity. I was in prison for 23 years. The whole time I was in prison, I only got one prison infraction. And my case managers and all, I used to marvel at that. Like, this guy doesn't get into anything. He only has one incident. Um, and coming home, I wrote the book to show people that there is a better way. If anybody reads the forward to my book, you will see where I point out that I wish that most of us that are growing up had people that actually had gone to prison and come home, approach us and tell us that, man, look, prison is not the way to go. You're going to lose so much in there. Like me, I lost my mother while I was in there. I lost a few aunts and uncles while I was in there. All the so-called friends that I thought that were down for me and everything faded
Oh,
over the years. The letters stopped coming. The phone calls stopped being accepted because they cost. Some people get blocked, and that takes a toll and effect on you over the years when you feel like you're just alone and nobody cares anymore. You don't understand that the world doesn't stop outside because you're in, but you're thinking that I am alone. I have no support, and it can lead to depression, anxiety, and everything. And some people I've actually seen take their lives in there. Some people just give up and stop fighting. But I wasn't one of those people. And I want to be the example to a lot of people that, look, 23 years, it wasn't an easy feat, but I done it. And I done it because I believed in myself. I believed in a higher power, God, Allah, whichever you want to call it. And I wanted to be the example that, look, black men are not just a statistic and a number. If you read scripture, I don't want to get spiritual on you, but a lot of prophets in the Bible went through prison. It's not talked about, but yes, they have. A lot of prophets in the Bible started off as alleged murderers, and God still chose them and made them prophets. So in knowing this and studying this, I was like, hey, man, look here. I could do the same thing. And I just believe my example and coming home and getting a good paying job and getting back with my family structure and developing a good support network is possible if that's what you want, but you have to want it. It all starts with you.
But
If
let
you
me ask,
just get, go ahead. Pardon me.
what about
No,
those who don't have that support at home? What about people that are coming home with no family? What would be your advice for them? Because are there resources out here for things like this? Or I know I heard you
yes.
say people were suicidal in there.
Right. They do have resources out here, but the people have to seek them out and want them out. You have you can have like RBHA where I'm from, or you have different organizations like the Urban League and people who matter of fact, before you leave out, it's the duty of every counselor to give um the alleged inmate or prisoner, I call them prisoners, these resources that they can utilize once they transition
Mhm.
into a halfway house. The halfway house is supposed to have these type things as well. But for the person that's going home to nothing, you know, that person has a difficult road ahead of them, but they still have the fact that they can just go get online and just Google resources that they can get in order to help them with homelessness, employment, benefits like EBT or food stamps, what it used to be called. It's different things that you can rely on to get yourself in a better position, but it's all in you seeking it out. It's there online. But you
Okay,
have to
what you have?
get out of the mentality that I don't have anything, I don't have anybody. Okay, well that's where you gotta lace your boots up or put your heels on and get to it.
Okay,
Get
so
to it.
resources are easily accessible, correct?
Hmm?
They're easily accessible, correct? The resources.
Yes, they're easily accessible. You can access it on a cell phone. If you got a laptop, you can do it. You can go to your local library and get on a computer
Mm-hmm.
and look this stuff up. So I would employ anybody that's going through that. Go to a library and get you a library card. If you don't have a cell phone, if you're in a halfway house, the halfway house should have access to it. But go to your local library, get a library card, just go sit in there, get on the computer and look these things up. And they will have the email addresses, the physical addresses, phone numbers, and everything. Take you a pen and paper and write it down. And
Okay,
as soon as you can, contact these people.
absolutely. Now we somebody in the chat had a question. Actually, one of my moderators. She says, "Can you tell us the difference between jail, prison, and the federal system?"
Um, Prison is prison, whether you're in jail or federal, right? But jail most of the time is just like you get locked up and you know sometimes it's a holding facility for when you get before you get transferred into the actual system. Sometimes jail holds a dual purpose. They will contract with the feds to hold inmates there until I said like they're transferred into the system, or they dealing with local crimes like say a DUI. You go in there and everything, boom, you bond out and go to court. The regulars. That's basically what jail is. But some jails contract with the feds to hold federal inmates until they go to trial and are actually transferred off into the system.
Right.
So, but jail is jail. That's like a local thing, pretty much. You got your sheriff's office and you do what whatever you go through. You go to state court and hope. Sometimes you pay fines. Sometimes you get probation, and sometimes you might wind up doing time. But that's basically what the jail is. Once you get into the feds and all that, you've been sentenced. Everything, it's over with. You're going to do time. You know, State, same thing. But jails is just like the pretty much the starting point of it all.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Hmm.
that was helpful because I'm like I said, a lot of this is actually new to me. So now that we got some resources out there, everybody, I am gonna put this information in the bio. Actually, let's read some of these comments. It says, "Wow, me and my kids' father was just talking about this today. The effects of how being incarcerated since juvenile has played an effect on him." Wow,
Yes.
he said he's 44.
It's sad, but like I said, in my opinion, this is what your did she say her husband could do? contact whatever jail that, or well, pardon me, whatever court that he went through, and see if he can get these prior convictions expunged. Because some of these convictions, after you, they get certain time on them. They've been around for a minute. You can petition the court to have them removed. It varies from state to state. Like me, I'm gonna give you an example. I have one case that was actually dismissed, but it's still on the record. So I'm going down to the court to I have the expungement paperwork. It's going to cost me $91. But I'm gonna turn it in, let the court do what they got to do, and get it dismissed from my record. And that's just an example. So your husband can do that. Whoever you are, your husband can do that. And if there's anything else that he can get expunged off his record, especially with juvenile stuff, get it off there. Because if you don't, these are the things that they use against you later on down the line if something else happens. So you want to, kind of like cut that off at the pass, if you understand what I'm saying. If you could do something about it, do something about it. Contact the court, get them to send you the paperwork via snail mail, or if they can email it to you and you download it, do it that way. But I implore anybody listening to get on that process, clean your record up. Get your rights back, apply for your rights back, because it's worth it. You don't want to just be a statistic to people and label as something that you've actually overcome and grown out of in certain cases, or you never were. Um, you just want to do that, because yes, ma'am.
No, I'm sorry. I think it's a delay between us. I hear an echo, but it's okay.
It might be my phone. My phone be acting up
You
sometimes.
have something playing in the background?
Yeah. Matter of fact, let me turn this TV off.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is.
It could be. I don't know. Do you still hear
it? Nope. That's better. Yeah.
All right. It's off. Pardon me. It's off.
Okay. Yeah. So, wow. One more time, can you tell us? I want to have one of my moderators. Can we put the name of his book in the chat and where we can find it? What platforms we can find his book, please? Can you repeat it for us so I can have one of my mods put it in the chat?
You talking about the difference between jail and prison again?
No. The name of your book.
The book is named "I'm Not Bitter" by Jermaine J. Sims. Like I said, it's available on Amazon.com. You can go to Amazon, type in "I'm Not Bitter" by Jermaine J. Sims, and it should just pop up. I can actually get the ISBN number and everything for you later. And if you want to put it in the bio or whatever, I can do that. So I can send that to you. And we can work that from there. But it's actually entitled "I'm Not Bitter" by Jermaine J. Sims. Yeah.
Okay, Sexy Lady or Cornelio, can one of y'all put it in there? I don't see Alexandra in here right now. So can one of y'all please put that in the chat for me? Let's go to the comments. What was the two things that were the most difficult in your transition when you came home?
What were the two most difficult things? One was finding a place to stay, and the second one may have been, if I had to say so, the employment issue, right? Because some people, when they do the background checks and everything, and they see certain convictions, they're like, "Ooh, we don't want to hire somebody like that." But other places do, hire felons because they get tax credit for it. It's a write-off for them and everything. They make a little money behind it. But for me, in the beginning, it was the living situation. I wound up going to a recovery house. I'm not a drug addict, mind you, but they had me in a recovery house because they did accept homeless people in. So, I was there for a minute. It didn't work out, because of politics, so to say, going on inside the program or whatever. but it was a stepping stone until I was able to actually get back with my family. And once I got back with my family, the sky was the limit. I'm here now with a home that's actually paid for and owned by my family. I'm paying rent, to be responsible and everything. But it's a beautiful thing to have somewhere that you can stay, and it gives you some form of stability. Like I said, I actually found a job. And the job where I work is actually a place where my brother also works.
Okay.
So it was brought to my attention. I put on, my best dress, went down there, handled both interviews, but I also let them know that I really wanted the job, because I called back right after the interview, and they were like, well, we said we were going to call you back, but could you come in Wednesday? Of course I can. Came in, and I've been working ever since. So I got my living quarters together. I'm working now. Like I said, I already had my savings account in place. I started a checking account when I came home. I still have my Roth IRA. And, I just, man, put my ducks in a row and conflated them to where, I'm blessed right now. I am so blessed.
Amen. I'm so sorry. I had something in my eye. I'm sorry. It
I
happened.
understand.
But I was definitely listening to you. Hey, you are blessed. I can keep telling you, like, I'm proud of you. And
Thank you.
I'm so proud
Thank
of you.
you. Yeah, it was, like I said, it wasn't easy. I actually had a few hiccups when I first came home,
I can only
and
imagine.
got that out the way, you know, put that behind me. I had diabetes related issues, complications, depression issues, complications, anxiety, and like I said, family really means a lot. My family got me the assistance that I needed, to where I got all of that taken care of now. So I'm living the best life I can live right now, and it's only going to get better, because
Yeah,
I want to be the best person that I can be. And I'm taking the necessary steps to achieve that. There's nothing wrong with saying, yo, man, I got anxiety issues, or I have these type of issues. I need to do something about it. Do something about it, because that begins the healing process. And
absolutely.
you'd be surprised how many people are for you, how many people will aid and assist you, and how much people will become closer with you because they see the change. They see that you're trying. So if you put forth the effort, they'll put forth the effort,
Right.
but they want to know that you're trying. And that's with anything: parole, probation, wellness, it all. If you making the necessary effort to be the best you that you can be, and bring about the best change that you can bring about, they will
Mhm.
help you. But it starts with you.
Absolutely, I agree. So someone in the chat had a question and they wanted to know, how are you dealing with mental health issues right now?
How am I dealing with mental health issues right now? I actually have a therapist. You know, I have a therapist. I actually got prescribed medication to help me with the anxiety and the depression, So I take my regimen serious, and I do it. I also take things like this. Um, Ashwagandha here. It's a natural herb, and I'll read it to you. Ashwagandha is an adaptogenic herb that can support a healthy stress response, cognitive function, weight management, and thyroid function. So, I meditate. I do what's necessary to make sure that I could be the best person that I could be. So I put forth the effort, and I like the results that I'm getting. And a lot of people that were exposed to me when I first came home, as opposed to now, like, man, you have grown so much. You are not the same person. And I like to hear that, because that it lets me know that the work, the time, and the effort that I'm putting in is paying off. So, yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you, is it okay if I drop the link for my chat? And if someone wants to come up, if they want to ask you a question, are you okay with that?
I'm fine with that. No
Oh,
problem.
okay. Okay, y'all. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat, and y'all can come up and ask some questions. If you guys would like. And we had actually have a question right now. When you first came out and things were hard, did you think about going back to doing crimes? That's a good question. Actually,
Uh Hell no.
uh, I
Double
know.
hell no. Um One thing about me is um I did 23 years in prison. There was no way in hell I was going back to that. So I was willing to do what I had to do. If I had to work 2 to 3 jobs, that's what I was going to do
Mm-hmm.
to keep from going back in there. You know, it's easy to go back to doing what you know, but I'm about change. I'm about progression. So I can't do that if I'm constantly trying to fall back on that which I knew or made it easy. Life is not easy.
Right.
Nothing in life is given. You have to work at it. You know, you have to achieve it. So when I weighed that option, going back to doing something that's gonna land me back in jail or being able to enjoy the rest of my life that I have, be
Mm-hmm.
around those who I love, start my own family and everything, that scale kind of tipped in the positive favor. Because I'm gonna tell you, prison is a waste of time. It's futile, and who do you have anything to prove to in doing what you're doing? I know it can be hard, and some environments cause people to have to do what they have to do. And if you're doing that, when it's time to get out, get out. Get out. Because the
Absolutely.
longer you stay in, the more opportunities you have to get tripped up and go to where I just came from. And you don't want to do that. So, no, I did not think about going back to doing anything criminal. Nope. I wasn't guilty of what they claimed that I was guilty of. And I really wasn't no no street guy like that. You know, I was
Right.
in the street, but it was by choice because of who I was hanging around, not by, oh, it's something I got to do, this, that, and the third. Nah. So to answer that question, nope.
No.
I didn't think about doing anything criminal. I love my freedom. I love being able to talk to many right now and do these type of interviews to help other people. I can't do that in jail. I
Absolutely.
could, but it's a little hard, and I got to get permission to do that. Out here, I don't. So, nah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so you said Trump actually helped you, correct? With
Yeah,
his
when Trump, yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
When he signed that First Step Act into law, that opened up a lot of doors for people that were incarcerated that didn't have a vehicle to get out on. And this is the thing. Even with that being signed into law, you had certain cases that just weren't looked at or whatever. But it all depended on how savvy your legal team could put an argument together, what you do in prison. And people do
Mm-hmm.
not understand that. What you do in prison is going to factor into you possibly going home because it's like a microcosm of the macrocosm. If
Right.
you're doing all manner of crazy stuff, illegal stuff in prison, and you constantly getting in trouble for it, what do you think a judge is going to do when he sees this, when the prosecutor presents this is his prison record, Your Honor. This is why we don't want him out. Then you sitting there with your head all drooped down like, oh man, if I would have knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I chose to do everything that I could and then some. And I've done it genuinely and naturally because that's the type of person I am, and it paid off. So staying to myself in prison paid off.
Right.
Thinking for myself in prison paid off. Staying away from the negativity and the foolishness paid off. And it's the same way out here. If you stay away from those type of things and those type of people, you will be successful. If you choose to get involved with that and be around people like that, it's an old saying. If you're around them and amongst them, you might as well be counted as one of them.
Absolutely. I agree.
So, and knowing that and being wise enough to understand that, hey, I don't have a problem with being a loner and doing my own thing, but I'm gonna do it free. I tell you that.
Amen. Amen. I put the link in the chat if anybody want to come up. I know it's been close. You gotta go. I definitely appreciate you coming out. Like you don't understand how much it means to me. Like I learned so much. Just right now, it was so much I didn't know. And then even just saying you, because you know how we know through another platform. Seeing you
Mm-hmm.
get the platform and how you talk, and just I would have never imagined
Mm.
that this was your backstory. I had absolutely no idea. What can I say? Yeah, you were a model. Did you get the question? I'll read it out loud. You said
Yeah.
model.
Yes, you were the model prisoner for only one infraction for 23 years. That's unheard of. That's very hard to do. Yes, it is, but it's doable. And I done it. I mean, you can contact the prison or whatever. They'll show you this guy here. With my education data transcript and sheet, it was 4 pages long. That's how many programs that I participated in for 23 years. Because, like I said, I didn't want to be the same way that I came in, coming out. I wanted to show them that I'm going to be a bigger and better and bolder me. You know, you painted me this way, but I'm gonna show you that I'm not that person you painted me out to be. This is who I am. You want to take a look at it? Here you go. Proof is in the pudding, and I believe that, and I'm still like that out here now. I'm linking up with different people on different platforms to get some things done. I have certain contacts that I'm plugging people into so they can get started in certain arenas. Eventually, I'm going back to school. You know, just a whole lot of different things. I got a lot of irons in the fire because I want to see people up. That's why I applaud you, Minnie, for having me on here and doing what you do. You know, it takes people like you and others that really care, concern, and have the platforms so people can hear about things like this. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
All right. I appreciate you too, Boogie. Sexy lady, how you doing this evening, love?
Hey,
Hey,
sexy lady.
salute. Hey, salute.
Hey,
Salute to you, King. Appreciate you pulling up, telling your story. I just got one
and thank you
question,
for having
though.
me.
No
Mm-hmm.
problem. What advice can you give to the younger generation as far as prison life and what they should and should not be doing?
Okay, good question. I would suggest to the young generation that when you have people in your life that are examples to show you that this is the way to go, that you listen to them. It's like I said in the beginning of my book. I wish that people who had gone to prison and gotten out wouldn't have just put the experience behind them, but have participated in platforms and forums like this, to where youngsters can actually see and hear people like such as myself that have been there and done that, so they can honestly be exposed to, oh, where it was really like that. He lost his mother. Everybody turned their back on him basically while he was in. Things of that nature. So I would, yeah, if you know anybody like that, or if you're a parent, or either a friend that is conscious of that, share this platform right here with them. You know, to have conversations with them. Randomly, like, man, you might just want to be like, man, I talked to this dude today, and he told me about his prison experience, man, and man, it kind of, it annoyed me. You'd be surprised. They'll sit there and listen. It's a way to do everything. It's not
Mhm.
what you do, is how you do it. It is not what you
Real,
say, is how you say it. So you might just
Real
bring up
quick.
general conversations around them. And just to educate them on that, sort of get their wheels to turning and get them to thinking like, man, I might want to rethink whatever I'm doing if I'm doing it, because I might be facing this, you know. Talk to them about I tend to talk to them about the law. I tell them any day, man, if you doing what you're doing, man, you might want to study or go to this particular link and look up the crime or what possibly you could be facing, so you know the time that you're looking at. And I'm telling you, if they get to seeing 15, 20 to 25 years, they might start scratching their heads like, yo, man, I might need to go ahead and get me a job. For real.
Okay, so but what do you think about like as far as okay, so we have a lot of younger somebody's echoing.
somebody's going. Hold on. Let me mute.
Somebody needs to turn their live down in the back.
I muted you. I muted you just for a second, Joe Boogie. While she asked the question.
Okay.
Go ahead, sexy lady.
Okay, so what do you the advice for our younger generation as far as our African American teenage boys that's out here, they trying to do the right thing, but some things pull them further away from doing the right things. What advice can you give them as far as staying on the right track, staying on the right path? As because you did 23 years, but there's some boys that's you know they going doing time at a very younger age than what you did started doing time with. They out here, shooting and killing and all this and all that. So what advice can you give the younger black community boys that's still coming up in the world to where they parents is steering them on the right path, but they keep they veering off on the wrong path.
Um, Thank you for that question. Um, that is a very deep question, and at the end of the day, honestly, it's going to be on that youngster. All I could tell them is that you know, be conscious of the company that you keep. You know, if they're doing the right thing, it takes parental and a community involvement to get involved in it. You know, you can't just let them be out there like that. It takes, getting them involved in programs, going, being involved in their life, um I look at the situation with Allen Iverson when he was coming up. He was kind of like in around people and all that, and his mother would come down there where he was at and like, get your butt in here, y'all stay away, for a little bit more than just telling them, you shouldn't do this. You can tell a person fire burns until they stick their hand in it. So, but I would implore the youngsters dealing with it, don't be afraid to stand on your own too. Don't let the peer pressure get to you. A lot of them do it out of peer pressure. A lot of them do it because they're hearing this rap music, and that's what these rappers are talking about. But half of the time, these rappers ain't who they present themselves out to be. The
Absolutely.
jewelry they rent is either costume jewelry or they renting it out, just like the cars in the video. So it takes them somebody letting them know things like that and being very hands-on in their life. And once they, in my opinion, once they see that you know and you care and you love to that point, I think it will cause them to make better and wiser decisions as opposed to just telling them stay away from this, don't do that, and then walking away. They're children, they're inquisitive. No means yes to them. So it takes a little bit more than just telling them not to do it. It takes a community effort, whether it's aunts, uncles, step brothers, stepmothers, fathers, godparents, everything. It takes a community and collective effort to ensure that these children or these youngsters are not wind up where I came from. And I'm hoping that answered your question.
Yeah, and it did, but at a certain point though, like, what advice can you give the parents that's actually doing everything that you just said? The parents are actually doing everything that you just
Because it's
said,
some people.
but they kids are still stepping
Mhm.
out on the wrong path. Because
Um,
you can raise your kids a certain way
right.
and not have your kids around certain things and stuff, but your kids still step out of that boundary
And there's
and
ways and
follow their own and do what they want to do. Do not do. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but kids. Parents can raise their kids to where they have the best life. They teach their kids right from wrong. They know. You know what I'm saying? They not around all that. They don't listen to all that hardcore rap music and all this and all that. You understand what I'm saying?
right, and they still step
And
out,
they
make a
still
mistake,
step
or
out and mess up.
all I could tell a parent is continue to be a parent because none of us are perfect.
Correct.
Um, you know, you can only raise them to a certain point, then they get grown, you know, and life is all about choices and decisions. So sometimes, a hard butt make a soft behind. That's what I was told.
Yeah,
But
my
when they
daddy raised me like that. My daddy always
right,
told me a hard head makes a soft butt.
right. So it's reasons why they raised us like that. So as a parent, you do the best you can, and at the end of the day, it's all on the child. And if they make those decisions and all that, if you love them, just be there for them. Be there for them and try to get them to understand. See, son, daughter, this is what I was telling you about. You know, um, it's not worth it. Just be there for them, and help them get through it. You know, and that's basically the best advice I could give you because I mean, at the end of the day, they got to grow up. You know,
Yeah.
so I would just applaud a parent, tell a parent to continue doing what they're doing, and pray on it and stay involved. That's all I basically say.
Yeah, that's real shit. I mean, because
Okay.
that's not me personally. Because I put my foot all up in my kids' ass.
Right,
To make sure that
right,
they what they supposed to. So, I mean, I'm just asking for parents, like in general, that's having issues with with their teenage kids and things like that. Because that needs to be addressed. And if you've never lived through it, you need advice from people that have been through it. Like, you
right,
did your time and you got the advice to give to the new generation because you did your time.
right.
Prison life ain't what nobody wants for real.
Right. And
Yeah.
I want to say to any parent, don't feel bad like you haven't done your job because a child gets into something because I mean that's a choice that they made. It's not that the parent didn't do their job, it's just a choice that the child has made. Pardon me, because I'm getting ready for work. Um
Oh, you
but
good.
uh but don't feel that you haven't done your job because your child might end up somewhere that you tried to keep them from. Like I said, just continue to support them, be there for them, and help see them through because it's going to mean a lot down the road. Because one thing about it, when you get sat down and you away from what you're used to and what you normally love, you tend
Hmm.
to think, you tend to think like, wow, is this
I
what they
should
were
have
talking
listened.
about? Yeah, this is what they were talking about. And when you do it, it uh it tends to make a difference. But as they say sometimes, experience is the best teacher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's real. That's real shit.
Absolutely.
I got one more question for you because I know you're getting ready for work.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. We
Hmm.
can
So,
finish the
out of your 23 years of in the penitentiary, you did fed time or regular time? You did
No, I
fed
did
time,
fair
right?
time. I did 10 years in the federal penitentiary. By doing what I was supposed to do, I worked my way down to a lower custody facility, which it's called a FCI. I was at Butner,
Mhm.
North Carolina, FCI Butner, North Carolina, and I did 13 years there.
Okay. So, did your family support you that whole time, them whole 23 years? Make sure you had money on your books, and,
Um, at
or
times they
if
did,
they
but
didn't support you, did you hold a grudge against them, or you feel like, you got yourself in that situation? So if they couldn't support you, like as far as financial wise, you was okay with that.
I mean, at one point in time, I was blaming everybody except myself. I didn't have to hang around who I was hanging around. So I had some resentment back then, but I had to grow up and realize something. Man, bro, they tried to keep you away from this. So, I mean, I had to grow up and realize it's not their fault. So, but I always took care of myself. I went and got a job in there working for the Federal Prison Industries. I saved my money, so I didn't have to call home and ask for anything. I did what I was supposed to do, and I felt better about that because couldn't nobody point their finger at me and say that I was worrying about them with that, this, that, and the third. So I just call that grown man type. You know what I mean? That's what I had to
Absolutely.
do, and I done it, and it worked out to my favor. So, yeah, I had my reservations, and I was blaming different people at one point in time, but I had to grow up and get out of that, and I'm glad I did.
Yes, and I
That's
salute
real
you.
shit.
salute you so much, Jay Boogie. I know you getting ready for work. I appreciate you for sharing some of your time with us. I want to
Oh,
know, do
most
you
definitely.
yeah, cause hey, this was very informative. Like I'm telling you, we might have to do a part two. I don't know. We
Oh,
gonna
we
see.
can. I'm definitely with it. I'm definitely with it. I'm definitely
Okay.
with it. You let me know when, and we will do that.
Oh yeah, well for sure. Now, do you have a Facebook or Instagram? How can they reach out to you on social
Yes,
media?
I have Facebook. You know, my Facebook is my regular name, Jermaine Sims, and my Instagram is JayBoogie, JAY JAY_BOOGIE.
Okay,
Courtney,
perfect.
bro,
Yeah,
can you put that in the chat for everybody to see? If
Uh,
yeah.
I'm not
If you in there, can you put his platform down in the chat? However, I'm gonna go ahead and put everything in the bio in the description in this live. Jay
right.
Boogie, I appreciate you, brother.
Yes,
Stay.
ma'am, and I appreciate you all.
You are definitely a you. Oh, one more question. I wanted to know this really quick. Do you have any programs for youth near you as of right now, or is that something that you plan on working towards? Oh, he dropped out. Did I?
his phone might have went dead or something.
It might have. It probably did. I know he was telling me he was getting ready. However, you guys, this was dope. Like I learned some stuff today, sexy lady. You?
I did. Like it was a very, very good interview. It was very good, and I appreciate him stepping in and coming and talking about that, because everybody, they don't have the courage to come and talk about life in prison or life after being locked up. So it was
Mhm.
a really good segment, and it was very good. Like it opened my eyes on a lot of other things, as far as like prison life and stuff, because I've never caught any cases. I've never been to the penitentiary or any of that. Now I have family that has been,
Right.
but coming from a black man's perspective
Mhm.
on being locked up 23 years, that's a very long time to be
And
locked up.
I could not imagine
23 years. That
23
I
years ago.
couldn't imagine. Like,
Eight.
if he had kids before he went in, his kids are grown. Like, how can you, like, how you can't get that time back? That time you can never get back, you know? And so it was
Long
very
time.
good. A lot of questions that I had for a man that has been in the penitentiary, whether it's federal time or regular time. He answered those. That's why I asked the questions I asked, because at the end of the day, I have a black African American teenage son that's
Hmm.
14.
Yep.
So I needed those questions answered, because if my son was to fall off the wrong path, I needed a direction to go.
Right.
Right now he's on the right
Right.
path, but you just never know when your kids will step out. So this newer generation is different from how we were raised
Oh,
and how we
totally,
were brought up back in our
totally
day.
different.
It's different.
Totally. You going in and out. Can you hear me, sexy lady?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Can
You
you hear me? Am I going in and out?
no, it went out for a second. I'm not sure what's going on.
Probably because, girl, my air conditioner kicked on, so I probably got lower.
Oh, you good, you good. But yeah, you're right. Those were I definitely want to do a part two with him. You know what I'm saying? So we can get some more information out here for people that's going through it. You guys, it has been real, but I'm about to go.
It
Six.
was a great. That was a very good interview, Skinny. You did that
I
interview was really good,
thank
and that
you.
needed to
My
be
first
brought
one.
to awareness.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and hey, y'all, we got plenty more coming. I want to start touching on mental health, but I want us to get our following up a little bit more before we go into that. But we
Oh
doing
yeah,
it.
because we got some dope content for
Yeah,
mental health
yeah, some really dope content.
in the
But
African American community.
mm-hmm, yep, we do. Um, I'm getting ready to he just he motivated me. I need to go do something productive. Like I feel like I ain't doing enough right
But
now.
he did really good. Like I was like,
For real.
it was a very good interview. Like it was very good. Like he answered questions and he gave the answers to what a lot of people was wondering.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
that was a dope ass interview, Skinny. You did your thing on that one.
thank you, love. I appreciate that. I just like how he said that Trump legislation actually helped him. I never met nobody that was like, oh, that bill that what Trump signed actually helped somebody. So that I thought that was actually dope as well. I'm like, dang.
Yeah, because us, a lot of us African Americans, we was against Trump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
You know.
yeah, yeah, but
But
so
then, we got Biden's ass up in here, and what the hell he doing?
don't say his name on this platform.
That's another segment. Or we'll
Right.
just leave
That's
that.
the thing for the day. SPK, thank you. I appreciate you. Let's see who we got all in here. Good evening, Club J Town. Salute. I appreciate you for popping out. I know I seen Miss Sophia in the chat. Salute. Amazingly beautiful. Salute. I'm sorry. I wanted to tell y'all salute, but I didn't want to interrupt him from talking. Quan Love, as always, salute. SPK, salute. Dab
Navy Hole,
oh,
salute.
was in the spot. Navy Ho, salute, salute. And of course, my lovely moderator, sexy lady, Alexandra, and last but not least, Courtney Lowe. I appreciate y'all. This was dope. We're gonna come back tomorrow. We got another interview tomorrow. This time it's gonna be a little fun. We have a rapper slash actor. And he's gonna tell us a little bit about his movie. So y'all pop out on me tomorrow. We got another interview. And sexy.
Do you have Courtney Lowe's Instagram and stuff so we can
Actually I don't have Courtney Lowe's uh anything right now, but we will get that. We will put that up. Because I have to tweak the things that we put in the chat. Courtney Lowe, I just kind of pushed her, Alexandra's at work. So Courtney Lowe just we have to put her out there real fast. So you
I
can have
appreciate you, Courtney Lowe, for stepping in tonight. Helping.
it right now. So
New mod alert.
new moderator Courtney Lowe. She came in like, hey y'all. Okay, well, you guys, it has been a wonderful night. If y'all need to, y'all can go back and reference this video. If anybody need anything, I'm gonna put everything in this. What was the name of the book again? I'm Not Bitter on
Yep,
Amazon.com, you guys. I'm
yep.
not bitter. It looked like he has a good story to tell, so I'm definitely about to go check it out.
For sure. I'm actually gonna go order the book,
You
actually.
are, yeah, I'm getting ready to do the same thing. Yep. Well, you guys have a wonderful night, and until next time,
We
love.
appreciate you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Skinny Mini, OG Skinny Mini on YouTube, Instagram.
Yep, on all platforms. Oh, let me take y'all out on the. I'm gonna drop you down, sexy lady, because it's the only way I know how
For
to do
sure.
it. All right, love. I'll talk to you in a minute.
I bet.
All right, all right, y'all. I'm out. Wait, let me see if I can do the outro video. Boop.